I was healthy. I thought I ate good food. I took care of myself. I exercised. I did everything that I thought was right in life. And I got cancer.
Welcome to Becoming Epic, the podcast for the ones who are counted out, the ones who've been knocked down more times than they can count, but still get back up one more time. This isn't for the perfect. This is for the underdogs, the misfits with big hearts, the ones chasing purpose, not permission. Here, we don't just talk about success. We talk about grit, discipline, heart. We talk about the courage it takes to rebuild yourself when no one is clapping. Because becoming epic, it's not a destination. It's a decision made daily. So if you're tired of the average, the excuses, the same old story, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Adam Berezowsky, and this is Becoming Epic. Let's wake the warrior in you, and let's fucking go. Right now. Welcome back to the Becoming Epic podcast. My name is Adam Berezowsky, and I am pumped. I have probably one of my most favorite people on earth that I've ever known, worked with, or basically just since the day you've entered my life. Sarah Daub, and her story has probably been one of the biggest impacts in not just my life, but probably the whole community of Epic. And I want to share that story today. So I'm going to pass it off, let her introduce herself. This is Sarah Daub.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and I don't know, maybe start like what got you into fitness in the first place, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, I, growing up, was never into fitness. My sister and I were dancers. I'm an identical twin. And we never saw our parents work out, never lifted weights. And after I had my two kids, some friends invited me to what was back then Oak Ridge here in Simi Valley. And I started taking all of Coach Wendy's classes and became really good friends with her, and had this really close-knit group of friends that we would work out every morning at 5:30, Monday through Friday. And Coach Wendy came over to Epic, and I followed her. And from there, it's all about Epic.
Yeah, no just kidding. And it's funny, like she fell into our lap for one. And I don't know, she's been the greatest blessing, not only to bring our people with her, because she is Epic. I mean, she's like the epitome of what Epic stands for. She's been my longest employee as well. I mean, and even her story is incredible.
Right.
Okay. So then you got into fitness, you were a dancer. I want to dive into your story of overcoming. I think most people will hear your story and be like, holy shit, like you've hit every obstacle in the world. So let's kind of go through, I don't know, you've been with me for how long? 8 years, 9 years?
Gosh. Yeah. I took a trial class with a friend back when you were over at the gym studio, and then gymnastic studio, and then joined right when you came over here. Yeah. So however long that's been.
2016, so 9 years. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So let's kind of like dive in through like the trials and, tribulations that you've gone through over the years, and, let's kind of start checking them off the list, because I know we got quite a few.
So, because I never ran in my life, Epic started me into getting to run. I don't know why. I still can't believe that I considered myself a runner.
You're still a runner, even though you might be like, I would say, on retirement.
Right. Right. I, started running with Epic. We would go out on the trails at 5 o'clock in the morning. We would run at 5 o'clock around the town of Simi back in the day when you would have run club. Yeah. And I ran my first and only marathon. What was that? 4 years ago?
2021.
So almost 4 years ago. And that was New York. And I met my goal. I thought I crushed it. I did so good. I seriously was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
I was feeling really good. I was working with nutritionist through Epic and working on my macros, and my body was exactly where I felt like I wanted it to be. And then I went to the bathroom one day and had some blood in my stool. And I was only 48 and kind of thought, well, that's weird. Waited actually a couple months, and it never went away. And I kind of started noticing some irregular BMs and just was a little worried. So went to the doctor, and I was of that age then, now is 45, for a colonoscopy, and scheduled my first colonoscopy, and my sister picked me up. And I barely remember the moment because I was really out of it. But I know enough to remember that my sister was sitting next to me, and the doctor came out, which usually they would just say, see you later. Like, you know, the doctors doesn't necessarily come in and talk to you. And he came in and said, we're pretty sure you have cancer, and cancer of the colon. And that was the last thing in my life I ever expected. Like, I was healthy. I thought I ate good food. I took care of myself. I exercised. I did everything that I thought was right in life. And I got cancer. And I went home, and they immediately started scheduling me for tests, and found a surgeon, went through a whole trial and tribulation of who was going to do my surgery. I really wanted City of Hope, didn't get that, you know, just the whole thing. Ended up finding a local surgeon, and I was 100% sure in my mind I was going to have surgery. They were going to take out part of my colon, and I was going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, that was going to be the end of my cancer journey. I did meet with a oncologist, which is kind of regular routine. He kind of went over all the staging with me. So I went into surgery knowing what they were looking for and what lymph nodes, involvement meant as far as staging, because they don't stage you until the biopsy through the pathology after they take it out. So I went in thinking, none and done. Surgery done. My surgery went really well. I had about 18 inches taken out of my colon.
Wow.
And I only spent 2 nights in the hospital. I came home, was on a soft diet for a week. 2 weeks after my surgery, I was walking with my friends again on the track and feeling good. And then I got the call from pathology, and they told me I was stage 3B, and I literally broke down in tears. It was not what I expected. So stage 3B means that I needed chemo. And
well, from what my knowledge is, because yes, there's different levels of cancer: stage 1, 2, stage 0. I heard there's now stage 0. Because not all need chemo, right?
Right.
Okay.
So when you reach stage 3, you need, for colon, it's recommended that you receive chemo. And so there's stage 3A, B, and C before you get to stage 4. So 3B meant that I had lymph nodes involvement. It had penetrated through the lining of my colon, but not yet reached any other organs.
Wow.
So if it had reached an organ, that would be stage 4.
Gotcha.
And mine did not. But that meant that I had to go through 12 rounds or 6 months of chemo, a round of chemo every other week.
Yeah. No, I remember, I mean, it's so vivid. The day you told me, which you broke down like crazy. Going through chemo is hard. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, we've had a lot of people that have had cancer. It's like I don't know. I'm saying this as a joke, but it's like the cool thing right now. Cause it's like, if you haven't gotten it yet, it's like,
If you want to call it cool,
right,
sure.
right. I know it's poor choice of words, but you know what I mean, right? Um, but like, I, I feel, everybody's journey is different,
Different.
right?
Yeah.
Um, even if it's the same type of cancer, because I know colon is like running rampant,
Right.
and you know, it could be from 1,000 different things.
Yeah.
You don't know,
Nope.
but it is more common now than it is not.
It is.
Which
Which is why they're saying to get your colonoscopy now at 45, not 50. But mine, so I was tested for something called Lynch syndrome, which is basically like that I carry the gene for it. I have no family history of colon cancer. And I was negative for Lynch syndrome. So basically the oncologist, when I asked like what could cause it, I was told the word environmental. What the heck that is? who knows? Could have been the groundwater I drank out of the hose growing up on 10 acres. I don't know.
Interesting.
But, the foods that we eat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of see the path, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people about like our food and the food industry, and everything there's more and more things put in a box in a bag than there
Right.
are actually natural things on a shelf.
Sure.
And and everything that goes into our body, like it's got to come out somewhere, right? But then again, like the things that are in foods, the ground, like you said,
Everything matters these days. Like, yeah.
But it's like our water, again, especially where we live, due to some of the things that have happened environmentally around us.
See me. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like, whatever the
Rocket dye.
Yeah, rocket dye. I couldn't think of it. Among other things, because like that is, maybe not be the cause, but there's other cancers that come from that.
For sure.
Yeah.
We'll never know. We will never know. Yeah.
But to have like an environmental answer, because I mean, because truly, like people don't really know. It's just like it's not there, and then it is.
Yeah.
And then it's like you really can't pinpoint it to like, oh, I did this, because there's people that have never smoked a day in their life, walked by a cigarette, and then like that's what got them.
Right.
Okay, so you're up to this point. Chemo, I know, was rough.
So yeah, so it didn't end there. I actually, I went back to the surgeon. I decided to have the surgeon then put in my chemotherapy port in my chest, which is where they would access and, hook up the chemo. And I, like everyone, you sign the waiver, yes, fine. There's little risk. There's, things that could happen. Do you ever think it's going to be you? Never. So I went in what was supposed to be like an hour, go in, recover, outpatient, go home procedure. Was not. After my surgery, remember waking up in the recovery room, and I told the nurse that I couldn't breathe. And she's like, oh, okay, well, you just need a little bit more time to recover.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll sit here. And then I started to get sick. Oh, you poor thing. Let me take care of you. Okay. Couple more minutes. Are you ready? No, I can't breathe. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me call the doctor. So the doctor comes out and she says, what's wrong? And I said, I cannot breathe.
Jesus.
Within 10 minutes, I was down in CT, MRI. I don't even remember. I think it was CT, and back up into recovery, being cut open right there on the recovery room bed with my husband right there, who was like freaking out, and a chest tube being put into the side of my chest while I was wide awake.
Holy crap.
Yeah. During surgery, the port, when they put the port in, the port goes in your skin and down underneath your heart, and then to your lungs. They punctured my lungs.
Wow.
It was obviously an accident. They did not mean to do that, but I had pneumothorax. So doctor says, okay, we got this. No big deal. We're going to admit you.
No big deal. We just punctured your lung, but no big deal. Oh my God.
Pneumothorax is something that you will resolve yourself in like 24 hours. Let's move you up to a room, 24 hours. We'll take the chest tube out. You'll be good to go. I had every single doctor in that hospital on my case. I was admitted for 10 days. I had 2 chest tubes. I ended up having a chest tube inserted underneath my port at the top of my lung, and then my existing chest tube that they had to take out and adjust like 3 times while I was awake again in my side. And my lung fully never recovered. They thought after 10 days I was good enough to go home. Needless to say, I talked like I couldn't breathe. I was very, very short of breath and was not well.
Yeah.
Went home. My sister and my husband decided I needed fresh air, and we had camping reservations, and they said, we are going to take you and you just sit at the beach and relax and breathe in the fresh air. I ended up running a fever the whole entire time.
Holy crap.
I was miserable. The following Monday, we went to my pulmonologist, who I had already seen once when I got out of the hospital. And he basically looked at me and said, why did they discharge you? Go back right now, and I'm having you readmitted. I'm like, oh my God. So what should have been 24 hours was now like 14 days. I was readmitted back into the hospital, and my lung was infected.
Oh my God.
So I had what was called empyema, which is basically the fluid on the lower side of my lung turns into like a very gooey orange peel. And
Sounds delicious.
the only way to get rid of it is to have lung surgery. So Simi Hospital didn't have a pulmonologist on staff, or the one that they had was actually on vacation. So I had to be transferred by ambulance to a hospital in Glendale. And I spent, I don't know, another 10 days there, I think. I had to wait a couple days until they could get me on the surgery schedule. They've had to put my chest tube back in, and I had what was called a decortication. So they go in like through my back to my lung and basically scrape out the infection.
Jesus.
So I couldn't do anything related to my cancer until that was resolved.
It's like pushing it out and further and further. And then oh my God.
Yeah. So I had to wait till my incisions healed enough, because obviously chemo makes your immune system low and doesn't allow things to heal very well.
Yeah.
And finally, I started chemo like 3 weeks later, and went through 12 rounds. And yeah, I remember I did not come to the gym during my chemo treatments. I had to wear like a fanny pack, and I actually went home with my chemo drugs for 48 hours, and then I would go back to get it disconnected. And I worked part-time. So I worked the week I was off chemo, I went to work, but still didn't have a lot of energy. And then the week I had chemo, I was off work. So that lasted 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when you were coming, during all this, the breathing,
I think the first month I came back here, I was a hot mess, but I was determined to move.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister and my daughter would come with me and work out. And I remember every single workout, I broke down in tears.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do what I used to be able to do so easily. Like, things always came easy to me. I was strong, I was fit. And now I was like just feeling so low and not strong at all.
Yeah, I think like the power of proximity. I don't know if you ever heard of that. The power of proximity is like, obviously who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be like. When you showed up here during this, I mean, yeah, you broke down every question I asked you. It was like, it's always a cry fest, but like,
My mom always taught me crying is okay.
totally, totally. Yes, I 100% agree. But like, I just remember like the struggle in your eyes because yes, I mean, when you go from where you were, like top of your game, your most fit self to then being broken down the way you were. I mean, and it wasn't just being broken. 'Cause that wasn't just like going from being healthy to unhealthy. That was almost crippling. But the determination, I think, is so big. And for a lot of people, is like could be the end of what you've accomplished in your past, right? Because it's like you're like, oh, this is where I'm at now, but you didn't allow that to stop you at all.
Well, I had to keep telling all my doctors, I am an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, this is not okay. I ran a marathon 2 years ago. This, for me not to be able to do this is traumatic to me.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
not being able to move and not being able to, I mean, I literally was so weak. I could not do, I couldn't lift my knees to do high knees. And that I remember just trying to take it slow and bring my knee as high as I could during that warm up. But I mean, without a doubt, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And everybody said, give your body grace. Like, your body just went through so much. And I get it, but it's so much more easier said than done.
Totally.
Because I then had the lung thing. I wasn't like my heart rate was high. It still is high. I just, wasn't where I wanted to be. Yeah. And that's hard to understand.
Especially for like, at least the journey that I've had with you so far, because like we've gone through you want to be X body fat, you want to lose weight, you want to build muscle, you want to run. Like, I think we've gone through if there's like, for every goal out there, I think you've accomplished every single one. Like, you've wanted to be an athlete, or you were an athlete, but you wanted to run the marathon. Well, maybe I convinced you a little bit. Maybe
You did.
Maybe the want wasn't there, but whatever, we got it done. And it was definitely epic.
It was epic.
You've gotten down to like your leanest.
I was 12% body fat at my leanest.
And then to go from like that to this. But, I want to preface this because like willpower can make anybody overcome any obstacle, right? And it's like you can go from not just cancer being a huge obstacle, but then getting your lung punctured by the person who's there to basically save your life, right? And then to do all this stuff to then come back with a vengeance because, and I know you still struggle this day with your breathing and, but like you've been running, like you're out training again. Like you show up for yourself. Like you're actually not playing victim like most people do. Like as from what I've seen out there of like, oh, I had cancer, like had in the past, but then they're still not doing anything about it. Right. So like where do you feel like you've gotten that determination, and then how are you applying it now?
If you seriously want to know, I have no clue. So chemotherapy, actually, my body did not accept it very well. I've had some residual medical issues because of it. And I've had a lot of testing done, like on my heart. I've developed really bad rheumatoid arthritis. I have been diagnosed with like moderate TMJ, where my joints are like my cartilage is missing. And I mean, chemo kind of just ruins everything. And as much as I have gone through and stress and have gotten anxiety about, I still, I told myself recently, knock off the sorry me and, am I okay? Like, I'm ready to get back to where I was. Yeah. I overcame it. I survived. I still feel strong now that, I've been, healthy again and moving and doing different things. Yeah, will I ever will I ever run a marathon again?
Yes. Yes.
Probably not.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, there could be different things that I could be doing
Totally.
instead of running,
Yeah.
26 miles and still feeling good about.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
chemotherapy and just not moving for very long. Obviously I've gained some weight and I'm like, my next goal is, okay, where can we, or how can we get to where you want to be again?
Yeah.
I look at pictures pre-chemo and I'm like, I'm not that far off. Like,
Yeah.
it's totally doable. So I just got to keep moving and keep focusing one day at a time, one step in front of the other, and realize that doctors are telling me, work out, you are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be days where I don't feel good or, I feel unmotivated, and that's okay. Like we all have days like that.
Totally.
But it's learning to not give up.
Yeah.
You got to still show up. I used to come at 5:30 in the morning. I got into a really bad sleep habit when I wasn't working and not working out. And I really, really need sleep now.
Yeah.
So I don't come in the morning. I come after work, but I still show up. I want to be here. I have a great family and community here. And it just makes me feel good.
Yeah. And I remember when you first came back again, like you were struggling, but every single person around you was like cheering you on, supporting you. Cause there are those people out there that are like, oh, just like you were saying, you need
Right.
rest. You've been so hard. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Right.
But it's like, they don't get it. It's like, cool. I can play a victim to myself or to this situation I'm in, or I can use it as like a propellant to become even better than you were. Because I hate to say this, you might not be where you're at, but I think you're 10 times farther now than when you were before cancer. Only because you're sitting here right now doing the damn thing. You've had to adjust your life, right? You still make time for you. You have two wonderful kids, one that's in the military who's traveling the world and protecting us. So thank
Yes.
him for his service.
Carson.
Your beautiful daughter who is crushing it in school and living their dreams and
UC Davis. Yeah.
and and it's like, and you're teaching them such huge adult lessons that like nothing is impossible, right? Because to so many people, cancer is like a death sentence, and it's like, or a lost job or a broken heart. Like there's all these things that like you can play victim to, but then like,
oh yeah, I could easily sit at home because because I have tachycardia, because my heart rate is high when I work out.
Yeah.
And I could just decide not to work out because I don't like to see my heart rate high.
Yeah.
But I just learn to adjust.
Yeah.
Like when my heart rate gets high and and I'm wearing my MyZone and it tells me I'm over 90%, I just like, a couple coaches know when they see Sarah walk in a circle for a minute, I'm just catching a breath, and that's totally fine.
Total.
And, it goes down and I get back to it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's again, like, because like, so I talk a lot about systems, right? And like people just don't know how to shift and pivot when huge things happen in their life, right? Big milestones, kids, families, whatever. But it's like, you're the perfect example for this because like you used to come at 5:30, right? In the morning. That was like your routine every day. Now you had to adjust at night, right? You're really not far off from your numbers when it comes down to your physical attributes of where you want to be. I mean, I wish I could just like ball up what you're saying and put it into a pill so I can give it to other people. So that way they understand, but it's hard because, like in life, people just don't shift and pivot. They're like, okay, well, this is my life now and I'm just going to deal with it versus like adapt to living like this new way.
I think one, I mean, I'm 50, but to me, that's still young.
That is 50. How crazy is that? It's like the fountain of youth around here. So FYI.
But I consider that still young. Like I have years to live. And yes, I work full time. I'm married to Frank and we like to do things together and go camping and keep busy. But you have to maintain, it's all about your mindset.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
it really is. Like if your mindset is not good and it's consistently putting you down or telling you to turn the other way,
Mm,
you're never going to get the next step forward.
yeah.
And I've been there. Like don't get me wrong, it has not been easy.
No, not
I
at all.
mean, there are days that I, text my mom and my sister in our group chat and I'm like, why me or this again
Yeah.
or something else new or, whatever it is. But again, I have like so much more to live and to give and to, like, I hope it's motivating to other
Oh, yeah.
people. And if there's one thing that, comes out of my whole experience, it definitely is keeping a positive mindset.
Yeah.
Because when you don't, you're not going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, it's very difficult. 'Cause it's so easy to say that, right? And it's like, and this is what I try to drive into people because it's like we can focus so much on the negative, and there's so much negative out there. Like you point your finger, there's something negative, right? TV, news, family, whatever, right? But it's like keeping that mindset is like so key because the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk about the situation, like you went with me, basically lived through my divorce with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, still showing up every single day, knowing that tomorrow is just another day. And, you said 1 foot in front of the other. It's basically the 1% rule. Like, it's just, you take things slow.
Right.
It's like the people that were like, oh, I lost like 200 pounds then, and I want to do it again now. But it's like, it's so different now. Like, you're not just going to lose it quickly and gain it all back again. Like you have to change everything and you have to adapt that new mindset. And, and I always say, with the proximity of who you're around, right? If you're around those negative people, you're going to fall suit to that. So if that's all you were feeding in was like, oh, Sarah, sit down, relax. Like you don't need to go to the gym today because you can't breathe, right? But you're like, nope, see ya. I'm going to go around the people that are going to support me.
Right.
That like pulled you through it. That has created that positive mindset because it's like, not everybody has it. I think if you sit here and tell me that you've never talked negative about yourself, I call bullshit, right?
Oh yeah. Adam's seen, I talk shit about myself.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm the leanest I want to be, but I'm still not where I want to be. Yeah, I get it. But it's like, but I feel like in your shoes, right, with what you've gone through and how it can be such a damaging, crippling, to your ego, your mindset, your body. I mean, you're rehabbing your body to come back.
And it is all of those things.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like I have cried to, my family, I can't lose a pound.
Yeah.
And all they come back and say is give your body grace and time.
Yeah.
Like you're still in that recovery mode.
Yeah.
And as much as that sucks hearing, it's probably true.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
Like I will get there.
Yeah. And yes, I might say I want you to run a marathon, but there's 1,000 things that I can think of right now that we can do. Like instead of almost killing Cam on that insane hike and blowing them off the mountain, like I can take you, where you still have the sense of fear and scare and have a good challenge ahead of you.
Right.
But yeah, and this is why I wanted to tell your story because it's like, out of everybody that I've met, and like, we've had a ton of people that have gone through different types of cancers or their family have, and they've had to adapt. Like you have not changed that driven mindset through it all. And I hope that this does bring a lot of, motivation to people just because, it's not the end. It doesn't have to be. If it's not hard, then it's not the end. Right. Because in the end, like, your recovery is going to be the rest of your life, right? Because it's like, for how damaging chemo is, your lungs issues, but it's like, but you're not going to let that affect you at all. If anything, you're going to use that story to like, be like, yo, I did run a marathon after I had cancer and like, and then be an advocate for it. Because like, I mean, again, like it's stories like, and not just stories, but it's people like you that I'm surrounded by that I'm so thankful for because it's helped me see how strong the human body really can be, because it's, again, it could have been a death sentence, but for you, it wasn't.
And, I really appreciate, your comments and, that you've kind of seen me through and, you're proud of where I've come from basically. But, we all have challenges in our life,
Yeah.
whether it's health or jobs or, stresses and so forth. But it really is how you decide to handle them, what shapes, your future. And what my way doesn't necessarily mean it was the right way.
Yeah.
It was the way that I decided to handle it and how, my stress and anxiety allowed me to move forward. But, I just like to tell people, no matter what your challenge is, because we all have challenges, like, don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Because it can affect the rest of your life if
Yeah.
you let it.
Yeah. And I mean, Daniela said the greatest thing the other day, because we all have 1,000 problems until our health is, or what did she say? We'll have 1,000 problems until you get sick and then you only have one problem. Right. So it's like the levels of what people's issues are so different.
Yeah.
But then again, it's what you feed yourself. It's what you put in your mind. Like if the biggest and craziest cancer survivors out there are the ones that made it through, not because of the medicine, it's because of their mindset.
Right.
And
it didn't come naturally. I have to tell you this. So my cousin Lauren is a life coach, and I focused very heavily on working with her during treatment and recovery, and it's up here, and it definitely helped me get through and changing, negative thoughts and negative words into, that's not what you really wanted to say. Why don't you try re-saying it, what you really meant positively? And just really focusing on things that are positive in your life at that moment. And that's, that truly helped me.
Yeah, it's like a rewire of your brain,
right?
Because again, and there's like the conscious brain and then like the subconscious brain, where it's like, I'm sure you've read the book The Secret,
yes,
and they talk about, it's not just like saying, oh, I'm so pretty, or oh, I'm gonna lose this weight. It's like intrinsically thinking differently to where it like starts to rewire your brain to just think consistently like that, and it's the people that have been here for a long time and that I've surrounded by that are continually to like just do something positive in their life. Like you see that switch, and I wish people would invest into like life coaches and, things like that can really rewire, because it takes a long time. It's not just like, oh, you talk about, so you talk really bad about yourself. Don't do that. Right. But it's a constantly being aware of like, okay, at this time, this is what I'm thinking about, and I have to rewire, right? Yeah. And then like understanding that, because we could all be a victim to all of our circumstances, right? But then like there is positive in all of it,
right?
And I'll just use our client Jordan as a perfect example, because his daughter, if there's anybody who's been a huge cancer fighter, it's his daughter, right, who was in medical school, to do this for a living, and then had brain cancer and recently passed away. But like the fight was insane. It gives me goosebumps. I mean, it's like seeing your fight. Like she did not want to go. She was fighting to the very end, very end, until her body just had enough.
Right.
But I'm like, just to hear, and then what he has done for her, and then what the things that he has said, and like in a tragic ending, right? Yeah. It's like, it's mind blowing. It's like so mind blowing to see the positive that he sees in all of that negative.
Words make impact.
Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, your cousin, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful that you leaned on her, for that, because it is so important. Because again, you can just sit there and watch the news and watch the whole world ending and everybody freaking out about, the next thing, but you didn't do that.
Right. It's setting goals, looking at things that, are negative in your life that you can not let impact you or bother you or make your brain say things that that it's negative.
Yeah.
It's really you said it exactly. It's definitely rewiring to be more positive. And how can you take negative things and turn it into something different?
Yeah. And I feel like at some point, I'm sure, as your message gets out there, because I want to share your story just because it's incredible, for one.
Thank you.
For two, I think it's going to be an ever growing thing because I being a 50-year-old woman, with this, and you basically found out by accident, right? But versus going through the normal motions and then finding out, that it is important to take those steps necessary to take care of yourself. There's certain things that our body will tell us what's wrong with it, and there's certain things our body won't.
I am 100% a believer in the doctors, for one. But two, if your body is telling you something that is not normal, get it checked out. Why live not knowing that something could be wrong with you? And people do it all the time.
I know.
They don't go to doctors because they're scared. They don't get their annual checkups. And I get it. You don't want to know what's wrong with you.
Totally.
I could also not be here if I didn't know either.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah. And people do avoid that, and it sucks that over the course, and it's really bad these last 5 years because the lack of trust in people, just in not just doctors in general, but just in people and
insurance and just the hassle. I mean, alone.
And that's the other thing, it's you found somebody that you wanted to work with and then couldn't because of, insurance issues, and that's another fiasco that people have to go through that you shouldn't have to, but it's but again, I think everything does happen for a reason, right? You ended up with the doctors that you did. And I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of doctors that do one thing and then say another. All doctors, why aren't all doctors in shape? Why aren't all doctors fit? Why aren't all doctors preaching what they practice? Right. And that's just my opinion. But when it does come time to fix a problem, that's what they're there for, you know? And
I believe that they sometimes they don't know, but I believe that you are your number one advocate.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask questions and wonder different things and dig into deep about, why they're recommending something, I don't just take a recommendation off a doctor. I mean, you should see some of my appointments that I've been at. I'm consistently asking questions, and I think that's important. I mean, be your own advocate and do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Just because a doctor is telling you one thing doesn't necessarily mean that's the right thing.
Totally.
So,
but I think that there's a big importance right now that we do have to talk about because when you are in fit, right, and you know what fit feels like, you also know what not fit. When something is wrong, you're more aware, right? Versus when somebody's unhealthy, there's so many things going on that could not be right, but you don't even know because of how crappy you already feel.
Right.
And I think the importance of taking care of yourself and putting health first. And I don't know, I mean, eventually I'm probably going to end up in Congress because I need to advocate for this of why insurance companies don't cover, gyms that make an impact or personal trainers, because we're not cheap. Right. But this is what true healthcare is, and it's
they tell you to exercise, they tell you to walk, they tell you to move, they tell you to take care of yourself.
Totally. But then but then what does that mean?
Right.
But yet, just take this pill. This can fix that. No, you prescribe exercise.
Yeah.
This could fix that. Right. Go see, Joe Schmo at Globo Gym or wherever it is that they are going to prescribe you to and go do it, and I think the world is so unhealthy that feeling that way is so normal that when things come arise, you're it's shocking, but it's I'm not surprised because you always feel bad.
Right.
Right. And so imagine if you weren't in the shape that you were, and that was just oh, there's blood in my stool. It's just normal.
Well, you know what? If I was not in as good a shape as I was pre-cancer, I for sure would not have recovered so well.
Yeah. Yeah. See that?
Guaranteed.
Yeah. That's huge too.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
It would have taken me much longer.
Wow. Yeah. And it's so crazy. Again, I sit here just because fitness should be life, right? Fitness gives you life, gives you time, gives you energy, gives you everything, right?
Yep.
Gives you fast recovery. There's people that, have accidentally broken bones at an older age and we're like, oh, they don't recover as fast, but because you're in shape, they do, right? And it's like we need to be those advocates for everybody else because, and again, I just go back to like some of the things that Daniela said, because it was, exercise is the reverse drug, right? Because it's you on drugs, you feel good when you're on them, you feel crappy off of them. When you're exercising, you are feeling crappy. It's hard, it's sweaty, it's hot, it's burns, whatever. But then you feel
afterwards, you're
amazing.
golden.
Yeah. And it's like that should be like tattooed everywhere. It should be plastered of like, this is what it should be. This is how life is. But instead, McDonald's has a great, good, long, beautiful commercial of their Big Mac and their, someone eating it and it's so delicious, but they're not showing all the cancer and all the other stuff that food's causing.
Right.
And it's just like, it's mind boggling to me. So it's like stories like yours, and there's, hundreds of other people here that have that, which is why I'm doing this little project of mine. But yeah, I mean, perseverance, overcoming, becoming, right? Because it's like now you're becoming a newer version of yourself, right? I remember when you shaved your head and I was like, you got to keep it shaved because it looks smoking hot with the shaved head. Obviously I didn't win. So
yeah, gray and curly here. Yeah, you go.
Totally. And she rocks it. But it's like nothing stopped you, and there's so many things that could have stopped you. So I'm going to keep telling you these things because you can feel weird how often I tell you it, but I do.
I need it.
Yeah.
It's always good to hear.
Totally. But it's like, but I don't think you also realize how many people watched you go through that. And like, because you're pretty boisterous, right? You told people about your story. You became the colon cancer awareness, like you're an advocate of it now. And I'm hoping that you continue that, right? And put yourself out there for that, because like you should be the poster child. I know it's not the best poster child to be a part of, but like the end result has been a blessing.
Yeah.
Because like, you do have your challenges, but like we all do, right? It's like these big pivotal moments. And, again, I talk about these systems, like you've created a new system to allow your body to do what you want it to do because of these issues. Right. And,
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Like I've learned a lot I read a lot about products we use, how fitness matters with things that are happening. Like for me, for example, how just walking can impact me. So I use all like natural products now, when they're telling me it's environmental, I'm like, well, what part of environmental?
Yeah,
is it?
totally.
So we've changed our laundry soap. We've changed our dish soap. We've changed our dishwashing soap. I use all clean products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Like, I use that Yucca app, when you scan all the different stuff. Is it clean?
Yeah.
Like I really do try to use as much clean stuff. And my husband is very supportive of that. I just got him to get off of lunch meat that has nitrates in it.
Nice.
Just the
Go
little
Frank.
things that like impact your life that you don't know. And just from my experience, I've learned so much about just bettering my life, to be healthier.
Yeah. And I mean, you hit a couple things. I don't think people realize how much like those things could affect you, your hand soaps, your lotions, all that good stuff. Because again, there's some really good marketing out there of like, oh, this is the best lotion for you. Right. And
like food, French fries are my number one food.
Yeah.
But, you just.
But now with beef tallow.
Yeah. Right? Exactly.
Yeah. And finding where the ones with beef tallow in it.
Use avocado oil instead.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten rid of all the vegetable oil in our house and just little things that make a difference. But if you're going to work out and you're going to try to take care of yourself, you got to make it like as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just taking care of exercise, you got to take care of inside as well.
Yeah. And the whole skin thing, because like now there's this like with nylon, right? Like nylon has like a chemical in it with like certain clothing. Yeah.
Gosh,
Oh, sorry. I just
Not far
got down the
yet.
rabbit hole. But like certain clothing, right?
Yeah.
Because like our skin is the biggest orifice, right? So like environmental could be just the smog, the exhaust. I mean, there's so many factors, right? But again, like if you give your, if you give your best effort to, there's so many things that you can change, but if you just do things over time, right? Like I talk about my girlfriend, Cassidy, like she goes to farmers markets to do most of her grocery shopping because it's like the quality control is more in her hands than it is going to a major grocery store, because they used to be called health food stores, but they're not, they're called grocery stores now. And, it's like to sit there and yes, it might be more expensive, but in the end, like what's the cost? Your health, or like $16 for a pound of beef, which is kind of crazy, but it is damn good beef for one. But it's like, it's coming farm to table.
16 pounds for a pound of beef. Do you know how much it is for like a meal at Carl's Jr. now?
Oh yeah.
I think it's for $16. So buy the pound of beef.
There you go. There you go. Right. And so it's like, and that's the thing. It's like people have these habits that are just lead them down this rabbit hole, right? Of like going out to dinner, going out to eat, whatever, and the time it takes to go do that. Like people don't take that. They're like, oh, it's so easy just to go through a drive-through. You have to drive there. You got to go through, you got to order, you got to wait for your food, drive it home, eat. By the time you could have cooked yourself food,
right?
And it's like, it's not that hard to do the things that you're doing to like make these changes. And, but it took this to start going down those rabbit holes to then understand that all these environmental things have had these issues, or have had this impact on you, which is so wild.
Yeah. Like I better have some fresh homemade French fries on my dinner plate tonight when I go home.
Well,
not the frozen ones that we buy from the grocery store.
Totally. In beef tallow or olive avocado oil. Yeah. Frank, you better be ready.
The air fryer does. Yeah. Olive oil.
Dude. And that's the biggest game changer is an air fryer. I literally went home today and cooked like 15 minutes, some chicken. So I have like food ready today. It's been good. No, again, I think your just local impact in our community, because you've been involved in this gym for such a long time, in this community for such a long time, that through very big pivotal moments. But you've always shown up. You've always been there to take care of others. And I'm very fortunate, and I'm so happy that when you came back, everybody kind of just supported you, and
they did.
And that,
thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And I think that that's like a major, thing that you do need to be around when going through something like that, is like have the people in your corner that like won't say like, oh, just go rest, Sarah. Like, no, like, what's right. You know what you needed to do, and you got that shit done. And I mean, yeah, it could have been a death sentence, and she's here. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to take all this, I'm going to wrap it up in a pill, and we're going to sell it for $1 million, because whatever it is that you've done is exactly what everybody needs to do in every aspect of their life. And like, I hope that people took something from this, because her story, her mission for herself, because again, she had all these issues in her life until it was her health. And then there was only one. And then she took that shit and crushed it. That's exactly how she said it. And I nailed it that time. So I was like, I had to like redo that. Yes, if y'all, I mean, I love you. I really do. This has been a crazy journey between the two of us and all of our crazy shit that we've gone through. And New York was incredible. And I mean, I'm so excited for the future.
From everything we've done together, it's been, it's been a lifetime of memories. I mean, and more to come.
Yeah, more to come. We're on it. So if you got something from this, which I hope you do, take notes, because this woman knows what the hell she's talking about. She's done it. She's doing it. And she's going to continue to do it until death do us part, because there's no other way, right?
And go get your colonoscopy.
Go get your colonoscopy. I know. I just turned 40. I'm like, shit, should I just do it now? Just to like double check, like just to play it safe. I mean, hopefully my BMs are pretty good, but I'll just say it, my poop. BM's just weird. So it's like bowel movement or what's
a lot about that.
Yeah, totally. We learn a lot in these moments of time. But please subscribe. Definitely not prescribe, but subscribe. Share it. Do whatever to get her message out there. I love it. I love you.
Love you.
On to the next one.
That's it for today's episode of Becoming Epic. If something stirred in you today, don't let it fade. Take one step, one rep, one bold move. You're not here to play small. You're here to rise, rebuild, and become who you were born to be. Remember, average is easy, epic is earned, and the only way out is through. I believe in you, but it's time you believe in you. Subscribe, share, join the movement, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, go be epic.